Hello everyone, it's Elena and I'm back with another video. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about books that you should read before going to university. And if you're already in university and you haven't read them yet, well, I guess that now is a good time to start reading them. So yeah, here are the 6 books that I think you should read before you start your course at university. Number 1, Speak Freely by Keith E. Whittington. This was actually the Princeton pre-read, and as you can see, I got it as the pre-read edition. Although I ended up rejecting Princeton, but you know, I don't turn down free books, so I kept it. And I think it was a good idea to keep it, because I read it and I think it is a really important book, because it touches upon how universities should deal with opinions that most of the people in the university disagree with. So right now, a lot of people, you know, seem to advocate for this idea that if you're a liberal, your ideas are really good, but if you're a conservative, not so much. Especially in American universities, you can see this divide between Democrats and Republicans, and Republicans seem to get more and more afraid of even voicing their opinions. And you know, Whittington asks, is that good? When we are not inviting people to an open discussion and debate, can we really change their minds? Because if you just tell someone, oh, you're a Republican, okay, that basically means you're a racist, bye, then you are not really incentivizing them to join your side. Now, this book is not written fantastically, I have to admit that. It is a great book, it makes important points, but at times it is, you know, just draining to read it. So this is not a book where, you know, every page contains essential information. I think you can read it rather quickly. His key points come across, even if you read it relatively quickly, it's fine. But I think the, you know, thesis of the book is important, and that's why I would highly recommend reading it before you go to university. And speaking of talking to people, next I would recommend How to Talk to Anyone. So I think this book is not the only book out there. There are a lot of books about, you know, talking to people, and I think they all tell you very similar tips and tricks. So I don't think it matters too much which one you read. I ended up reading this and I loved it. Because I'm somebody who's naturally shy and introverted, and I don't talk to people a lot, and that's a problem when you're trying to make friends, or you know, you're trying to find people to have an academic conversation with. And this just really helped me to project a little bit more confidence when I talk to people, and to also, you know, start conversations, because I'm not a natural conversation starter, trust me. But this book is amazing, and it really helped me to, you know, get over these awkward small talk moments, because you have a lot of these events where you have to make small talk in university. This book is your best friend, and it helps you make friends in the first week of college, which everybody wants. So buy a book like that. By the way, all the books that I'm mentioning are linked in the info box below, so if you want to get any of these, you can just use the links down below. And yeah, let's move on to the next book. Okay, the next book is actually my favorite book, and so please don't trash it in the comments. It's called Pax Bean Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. There's also a movie about it with Emma Watson. The movie was trashed, even though Emma Watson was in it. That didn't save it. Don't come for me. It's not a debate. The movie was just bad. But the book is really good. So the book is about somebody who's a bit of, you could say, like, he just doesn't fit in high school, and nobody really knows why exactly, but he, you know, he's just a bit of an outsider. He's a wallflower. And I think it's my favorite book of all times because I read it at the right point in time, because I had someone who just came into my class and she was a lot like the main character of this book. And I don't think I would have ever openly approached her without reading this book. So read this book, because you are going to meet people in university who are wallflowers. That doesn't mean they're not interesting, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with them, but after reading this book I think you will just see them in a bit of a different light. So yeah, I think this is a book that anybody should read. Actually, you should already read it while you're in high school, but I think it's a book that can just, you know, make you approach people that you normally wouldn't approach. That's why I love this book so much, and that's why I would recommend it to anyone. Next, a lot of people fall in love in university, or they think they fall in love and then they fall out of love, and that's why I love Essays in Love. Essays in Love is one of the most beautiful books I've ever read. It tells a love story and how love can fall apart, and you know how at first we see people in this perfect light, things change, relationships develop, and maybe you fall out of love at some point, and it teaches you that you can fall back into love. I don't know, Essays in Love is beautiful, and I think it's a good reminder that relationships do change, but you know, you still had a wonderful time while you were in them. And yeah, I don't know what else I can say about this book. I think you should read it. You know, if you ever have a bad breakup while you're in uni, or, you know, even if a friendship falls apart, I think this book is just a great reminder that life goes on. And it's written so beautifully that you just keep turning the pages because you want to know more. It's not, you know, suspense written, but you kind of root for the characters in a way because he just writes so well. So yeah, would highly, highly recommend this book. And my last two books are a bit more serious than the ones I've just recommended. So we're going to start out with Auschwitz, A Doctor's Eyewitness Report. This is a very, very short read in terms of, you know, how many pages it has. You can read this really, really quickly. I think I read it in like a weekend. But while this book may be a really easy read in terms of its size, it is a really, really tough read in terms of your emotions. And it hurts to read it. I really had to put it down a few times because I was like, okay, I need to take a break, I need to process what I just read, and then I can keep reading. But I think everybody should read about the Holocaust because it's something that comes up in a lot of degrees. Whether you study philosophy, ethics, law, it comes up so often. The other thing is, it's such an important reminder that, you know, what you learn in university, how to analyze things, and the knowledge you gain, that you should use it for good and that you should never put it to use for governments that commit atrocities like these. Read this book, it's an important reminder, and it's written in such a way that you feel like you're in Auschwitz, like you can almost smell the things that he smells. And that's why this book is really amazing. It's maybe not, you know, a perfect historical analysis, but I think it's something that makes you understand just a little bit of what these people went through. We will never be able to fully understand it, but I think this book gets as close as we can get. That's why I would highly, highly recommend reading this. It's a tough read for your emotions, but it's worth it. And the last book that I'm recommending is fiction. So if the one before is maybe just way too much for you while you read it, then at least read this one. 1984 by George Orwell. Do I need to explain to you guys what it is about? No, you guys got into university, so you've probably at least heard of this book. If not, Google it. But basically, this book is what you should read in order to really understand the impact of propaganda and of government control. And I'm not an anarchist or anything. I feel like the books I'm recommending might give you that idea. No, absolutely not. But it reminds you of how precious it is to have free speech and to be able to pursue your studies the way you are doing, to, you know, investigate whatever you want in the papers that you will write for your midterms, for your finals, maybe even for your thesis, and to, you know, really wander off in any direction and to pursue knowledge just for the sake of knowledge if you want to do that. And that's why 1984 is a really, really great book, which I think just teaches you to appreciate the world around you, but also to watch out that we can maintain that freedom and that it's not taken away from us. So yeah, those are the books that I recommend reading before you go off to university. And if you guys want to know more about what kind of books I read, then you can follow me on Goodreads, which is linked in the info box below. And there I share a lot about what I read, although I've recently forgotten to update it, but I'm coming back, so don't worry. I have a lot of books that I need to add to that list, and they're all pretty fab. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye!